Hey everyone. How's everyone's day going? Good.
How's your day?
I'm tired.
Yeah.
Yeah, but we only have 2 days of school next week, which is nice. How's school going for everyone? Also, have you finished all of your apps yet?
No. I have 4 left.
Yeah.
If, yeah. Yeah. I
I
still have
have
a lot of essays.
I have 3 due on the November 30th and 2 due on December 1st.
Yeah, all my deadlines now are January.
Oh
So I
yeah.
have like a month and a half, but need to start the essays.
I literally realized this week that like BU's priority deadline was like December 1st, and I was like, wait, I thought it
Yeah.
was like January 15th, and I was like, I
Yeah. It
need that
doesn't like change on the Common App.
now. But
Like
like I need the money.
yeah. Yeah, I had to write like 2 like full-length extra essays for them.
I know there's too many essays. I've written too many essays
Crazy.
about myself. Like,
Yeah. I
oh.
hate it.
Hey guys, Anthony and Emmanuel, are you guys ready? Awesome. So can one of each of you guys nominate and then second Emmanuel or Anthony's nomination for voting member? We just need to like, it's like you guys can choose, but we just need 2 people to do it for each.
I can nominate someone. Uma can't make it today. She just texted me, just so you know.
Cool.
I can
But I can
nominate someone
nominate
too.
Emanuela, or I don't know.
I'll
I'll
nominate
nominate
Anthony.
Emanuela.
And Santos is here, everyone. Maybe it be nice.
Oh my god, I am.
Hi, everyone.
Hi.
Okay. How are you all surviving?
Okay.
Yeah, going is going remote good, bad? I mean,
It's
around the
very
holidays,
draining.
it's exhausting. It's
It's
physically
so exhausting.
I totally agree with you. It's hard to teach remotely too. I'm teaching in person this semester where I work, but I've done some online, and I'd so much rather be in the classroom. So,
Yeah, it stinks.
Yeah.
but at least you go back November 30th, right? That if all is well.
If all is well.
So the numbers I was talking, we had a COVID meeting this morning, and the biggest week we had was, or was it a day? Oh, it's right here. Last week there were 50 cases, which were the highest number Wakefield's had. This week we're on track for about 20, which is way better. So if it stays that way, and I know with the schools, 25 total cases, which isn't a lot, and there hasn't been any more bursts like they were last Friday. So hopefully, if that stays.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You
That
guys
would
for
be
coming.
ideal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's 3:30 now. So I now officially call this meeting to order. I'm first to run through attendance. Or do you think we should wait another minute to see if anyone else comes, Catherine?
Yeah, we can wait another minute.
Yeah, we can wait another minute. Yeah, we still have people
Yeah,
coming in.
the people are coming in.
Hey, Catherine.
Hi.
You're vibing. Okay. We'll
I
start.
know. Yeah, I know a couple people aren't coming.
Yeah, Uma said she can't come today.
And Ollie.
Okay.
Okay,
Thank
I
you.
think you get started.
Awesome. So I'm gonna call your name to say like you're here. So Alyssa,
Here.
Lauren,
Here.
Megan. Megan's not here. Nick. Nick isn't here. Summer.
Here.
Awesome. Uma. Uma isn't here. Yana.
Here.
Awesome. I'm here. Anthony.
Sorry, here.
Awesome. Emanuela.
Here.
Maggie.
Here.
Jenna. Jenna's not here. William.
Here.
Awesome. Amelia.
Here.
Awesome. Ali. Ali's in here. And Thomas.
Here.
Awesome. Amazing. Oh, Nick is here. Okay, so we will now move on our agenda. So is anyone here from the public wishing to speak? I don't see anyone. Perfect. We're gonna move on. Anthony, do you want to read the minutes from last meeting? Awesome.
Yes. So, last meeting we sort of were doing. It was a lot about sort of mental health, and we invited Mr. Sodroni and Ms. Burns to. They're sort of like the lead counselors of the Government Middle School and high school, respectively. Sort of talk about what they've been doing specifically to address students' mental health during this time and what programs they've been sort of running throughout this time. And that was really nice getting some insight from them. We also had Donna Kazak, Shilpa through Valor, and Lizzie McClellan from the NAM project, a really cool project that's widespread throughout the state that sort of addresses mental health and suicide. And they sort of have a lot of people with personal experiences of mental strife that sort of talk to students throughout Massachusetts school systems. I think they said they connected to 60 school systems. We also had a mascot update from Lauren Boyce, Jack DeBoe, and Shannon Farber about what's going on with that and how that is proceeding. We also had some COVID-19 dashboard updates from Catherine about this was when Wakefield was just getting into the red zone. Now we're sort of now it's sort of like a full spike in cases, and we also just had some liaison updates, and that was about it.
Thank you, Anthony. Do I hear a motion to accept the minutes?
I motion.
Awesome. Thank you, Summer. Do I hear a second?
I second.
I second.
Thank you. All those in favor say aye.
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 All opposed say nay. Thank you. That's passed unanimously. Next up on the agenda, we have a presentation from our Town Council Chair, Ann Santos. Thank you for coming today.
Yes. Oh, presentation sounds fancy. I didn't prepare much.
You're
one
just
thing-
a guest.
I'm a guest. Thank you so much. It's my job outside of being a town council is in higher ed. So we're approaching final season. So it's been absolutely crazy. One thing, Jack, I wanted to comment on, and absolutely no criticism. There's no reason you would know. On a Zoom meeting, votes have to be roll call. So you have to, I learned this, I didn't know this. So as opposed to saying everyone, yes, no nays, you actually have to go around to everybody. It's exhausting. But I think that's the governor's, when the governor allowed Zoom meetings over the public, you had to do that. So just interesting to know.
Okay, cool.
Oh, that's good to know, Anne, because
Yeah.
they've been doing roll calls for roll call votes for regular, like with the mascot and things like
Yep.
that. But for everything, approving minutes, they have to do roll call.
Yeah, everything. That's how we've interpreted the rules. And I think Tom Mullen supports that. So yes, it can be a little exhausting. So I just, as chair, I have everyone in front of me and I just quickly Jack, Summer, Yana, Jenna, I just run through it and people, if I can see their mouth say yes and they don't unmute fast enough, that's a yes. So it's just, part of the rules for Zoom meetings. So as a guest, I would absolutely love to take questions as well, but I can tell you a little bit about what we're doing. So one of the things that we've done with regard to COVID is we have a public meeting every Friday at 10:30 a.m. and we report on the statistics. It's open to chat, Q&A. Anyone can come from the public, but it's typically myself, Steve Mayo, who's town administrator, the Board of Health, our emergency management person, Tom Walsh, and they just, Doug Lyons, superintendent, always comes and does a report of the schools. So kind of, we started doing this because the public was wondering about, what are our numbers? Where are our numbers from? Why are we in the red? We have been in the yellow for 3 weeks, which means we can go back to, I think it's phase 3, stage 2. We shouldn't be too proud about being in the yellow because the only reason we're in the yellow is the government changed the way they counted. So we would have still been in the red if they had been counting numbers the way they had before. I think it makes sense though, because our red spike was really, it started because of one place. There was a cluster in a certain place and the rest of the community was pretty good. So that gave us red, which, indicates that that particular facility had some issues, but the rest of the town didn't. So the governor got some pushback on counting, not just from us, but from a lot of folks. So as a result, they tweaked it, which I think is is a more realistic reading of how the community is doing. We also, just some of the things that that have been coming up in town, we're still pushing forward with a big project that the town's doing called Envision, which will reshape what downtown looks like. And hopefully from in front of the Galvin all the way down to the Rookery. We want to make the street not so wide. We want to make it friendlier. We want to have more classically outside dining. We want to have bump outs and just make it more accessible. You hear a lot of folks say about Wakefield that it has such a beautiful wide downtown. It does, but people don't cross the street, as simple as that sounds. And so accessing businesses on both sides often can be tricky and people will avoid it. So was slowed down because of COVID. We're moving forward with that. Trying to think what else we are doing.
And Summer, you're the liaison to Envision Wakefield, correct?
Oh, good. That's awesome. Have you been going to any of the meetings, Summer?
So I've been reaching out. I haven't gone to a meeting yet because I haven't heard about any.
Well, there you go. I will fix that. Yep. Summer, if you can, I'm going to put in the chat my email. If you can email me your contact information, and then I'll get you in touch with Sherry Dalton, who is the assistant to the town administrator. And she'll make sure that you can be on those Zoom meetings, which is awesome.
Okay, thank you so much.
Yeah, no, that's really important. The Albion Street corridor is going to be done. We're going to be talking about it Monday night, but that should be done by early spring. So we'll get a taste of what it looks like. We're actually going to introduce some trees to Albion Street, which is, having grown up in Wakefield myself, it's, that street's always been a bit severe. So I think it'll look great. And then we're just, we're trying to govern as best we can in the midst of the pandemic, which has been tricky at times. Our finances in the town look good because I think Steve Mayo's been pretty cautious and thoughtful about that. So we're not in bad shapes. We don't think we'll have layoffs. We don't think we're going to have to do those things that other towns are doing. And we've managed to keep government running right from the start. We never slowed down. We never shut down. We pivoted to, Zoom right away, an online meeting. So from our standpoint, we're doing okay. Wakefield's hanging in there. I think what else is coming up? A lot of issues. I don't know if any of you went to the town meeting that we had at the high school. I thought it was on the environmental issues. It was awesome to hear the young people stand up and give their opinion. I think you swayed a lot of voters. I think you made a huge difference in the votes and how they happened. And, if anyone went and spoke, it does give you a taste of what government's like, because then you hear adults say something and you might agree with them. Everyone was pretty respectful, which was good. You read things in the paper that sometimes put an interesting twist on it. So it's nice if you participate and then you see what the take is on that participation, it can be very interesting, eye-opening, frustrating at times, but for good or bad, that's kind of freedom of the press, freedom, all that. First Amendment, people can say what they want to say. Does anyone have any questions for me about any big issues that are coming up before the town, or issues that you guys are concerned about?
Anthony, go.
So, kind of the opposite end of Wakefield. Recently, I've seen a lot of keep our late.
Anthony, you're like really static. So do you take out your headphones?
Yeah. I'll actually. Oh, is it better?
No.
No.
No. Okay. No. I'm sorry.
It's like a rebound. Perfect.
Hopefully,
Yep.
Hopefully this is better.
Yeah.
I've been seeing a lot of keep our lake clean signs throughout Wakefield based on the new, I believe, proposal to have a new sort of complex across the length by the old Converse building.
Yeah.
And so I was just wondering if you had any more additional information about that and what's going on with that.
Yeah, so that is going to be a very interesting issue. Am I echoing? No, you can. Okay. Okay. It's funny. I can hear the echo in myself. So what is being proposed is I think it's whether it's apartments or it's condos, it's private property. So a lot of people are under the assumption that we have control over that property, and we don't. Could we buy it? I don't know that we could afford it right now. So I think you guys are definitely probably too young to realize the whole garage issue that happened several years ago. But there's a lot of misinformation floating around, so you have to be careful about this project. I've already heard some misinformation, and I've been a little uncomfortable with how some folks are skewing the building. So they're portraying it as being urban. That it's going to make Wakefield urban. Wakefield will never be urban. We're a suburb. They talked about there was a shooting in a garage somewhere, so we're going to have shootings up here. I think some of the comments are a little bit suggestive of, if we build something like that, those people are going to come to Wakefield. And we know who those people are. Those are black and brown people. I think that there is a slight twist to if we build this complex, and I wouldn't even call it a complex. It's apartments. I'm not sure if it's condos. So I would be really careful. I would listen to the comments very carefully. It hasn't gone before the planning board yet, fully, the proposal. The proposal to me, the initial plans I've seen, and I don't know where I don't want 600 units. Could I live with less than that? Maybe I could. The proposal calls to cleaning up that part of the lake to have full public access to the lake that we don't quite have. It's not all bad. So my feeling is, if we try to fight it 100%, we have less control on how it's built in on our say. In my experience has been, if we try to come up with a compromise. Now, some people want nothing there, and I get that. You know, Wakefield, the lake should be pure, but it wasn't pure before. There was a big concrete business there. So if we can make something that's fits in with the character of the lake, that will allow people to perhaps move there who want to downsize, want to stay in Wakefield, but want to downsize. So I just think it's a great project for you to listen about, but be very careful who's giving the message. That's just a good lesson any time.
I think
Yeah.
William is our liaison to the planning board, so he's been attending
Oh.
some of the meetings and learning about it. So he's
Oh.
actually doing a presentation for us later.
Oh, that's great. Yeah, I think the planning board seems to be being very thoughtful about it. The Friends of Lake Quannapowitt, they're really good people. I just don't know if we can stop it. So because we can't stop it based on rules, a lot of rules and statutes, state law that have to do with planning, that we cannot impede, we can't stop that building, then we should be a part of it. That's my thought on that.
Yeah, I have a question.
Yeah.
So like I'm pretty passionate about the environment, and like I do a lot of work with environmental groups, and I was wondering like what the town is doing to move forward into a new green economy, because we all know it's inevitable that the U.S. will eventually become a green economy. So I'm wondering what Wakefield's doing to lead the path towards that.
So Julie Smith, strike that. Oh, sorry. I used to be a prosecutor. So when I make a mistake, I say strike that. It's been a long day. The Julie Smith Galvin on our council is in the business, is in the environmental sustainability business. So she is our focal point. She's our link to the gas and light department. So I think we've done some good things. I mean, it started with small things, changing people's minds about whether it's plastic bags. Now it's, you know, not everyone gets utensils. Every project that we approve in Wakefield since, I don't know, probably last year, has to have a green component to it. So they have to, whether it's their use of solar, what kind of energy they use. So every project has to consider that, which I think is great. And we're starting to, the Greenwood School, you know, is having some updates. And I know solar panels were a big part of that discussion. So even Albion Street redo, we're trying to have a bike lane. We're trying to have a bike lane that, and then with Envision Wakefield, absolutely, that's part of it, to try to get, you know, folks to think about different ways to get around. So I believe we have a 2050 goal for clean energy, or, you know, net zero. There's definitely a goal out there. We've bought the cars. We have our parking attendant. It's electric car. So we definitely, with Julie's guidance, have been pushing every project we do, every new car we buy. Can we do something, whether it's a hybrid or, so it's definitely on our minds, because, you know, as I've said before, my generation hasn't been great about this. So we want to try to do the best we can now.
Yeah, and like a follow-up to that. So the new MBTA budget cuts, they're proposing a cut to the bus line that goes by my house that I take all the time.
Yep.
And I was wondering what the town might be doing to help save these bus lines and like the T going around Wakefield. Because like,
it's awful. I take
Yeah.
for 20 plus years, I've taken the train. It is disgraceful, the budget cuts they're proposing. And in fact, some of the bus routes will cut out entire parts of Wakefield that use those buses. And buses are how our lower income, our frontline workers are getting to work. So I go into Boston twice a week. I drive. I have a parking spot in Boston. And then I can remotely work from home. Not everyone has that that privilege to do that. So it really is targeting people who need that. We have gotten together with our state legislature, both representatives, Senator Jason Lewis, to tell him how upset we are. We have written a letter from the council, pretty strongly worded. We haven't pulled any punches about how we think the cuts are awful. I think it is crazy for them to make cuts right now when no one's using their service, because how can you assess what that looks like? Wakefield pays $600,000+ a year for the privilege of having the train run through our town. So what are they going to do about that? Are they going to, if they're making cuts, how does that look? The WCAT is having an interview with someone from the MBTA, I think next week. We had thought Steve Mayo, the town administrator, myself wanted to be in that interview to ask questions, and they refused to come on TV if any local officials were going to be on. That is just crazy to me. They have to be transparent. They have to get pushback. It might not be pleasant. I mean, we're not going to hit them over the head when they come see us, but I just think the tone worries me. So we are doing everything we can. Do we have the power to change it? I'm not sure. They wanted to pull, there's a 515 commuter rail from Boston. It's an express, meaning goes from North Station to Malden Station, and then from Malden it went right to Wakefield. It was a great train. A lot of people took it because it avoided those 8,000 Melrose stops. They wanted to get rid of it. We pushed back very strongly and were able to keep that. I'm hoping they'll hear us again, but I don't know. Financially, they are really in trouble. A lot of their doing in mismanagement, and I feel like the people that are going to bear that burden are going to be those that need it the most.
Thank you. Yeah. Does anyone else have any questions for her? Lauren?
Yeah. Hi.
Hi,
Thank
Lauren.
you for coming. We really appreciate it.
Sure.
So we're hoping that our next project, as a council that we're going to do is kind of surrounding the topic of mental health and breaking the stigma.
Yep.
And kind of raising awareness and providing resources. So we're hoping to kind of get that started pretty soon. But I was wondering, if it's related to that or anything else, if you've seen any issues in the town that we can kind of jump on as the youth council, that are directly involving the youth, and if there's any suggestions that you have that we can kind of get going on.
Yeah, I think that the mental health issue component is so important, and especially for young people. Excuse me, I'm Associate Dean of Students at Suffolk Law School. So the students aren't much older than you. They're 20, 23, 24. And one of my roles is head of disability services. So I work with all students who receive accommodations. The amount of mental health accommodations has just gone through the roof for the past 6 years that I've been working. So when I started, it was mostly ADHD, classic learning disabilities. There is a lot of generalized anxiety disorder. There's depression, and some more significant mental health issues. So I think trying to erase the stigma is such a good idea. We worked on that. I'm forgetting the name, Catherine, you might remember, the resource where you can call somebody and get hooked up with
The interface. Yep.
the
we still
interface.
have that. Yep.
Yeah, which I'm
It's
hoping
a lot of calls. Yep.
gets a
from
lot of
Wakefield.
calls, and I am sure it gets a lot of calls that go through raised from the pandemic. I know that a school does a survey every couple of years, and the last time the survey was done, and I have two students your age. My daughter's a senior, and my son is a sophomore in college. And the amount of students who had contemplated suicide or had thought about hurting themselves was devastating as a parent living in town. So, you know, what kind of real resources can we have at the high school and down below? I mean, it probably starts in kindergarten where you start seeing some issues with students. So can we, when we get through this, can we access any kind of, allocate any kind of funds to have something that's different than just maybe a school counselor? To, you know, can there be groups? Can there be support groups? Can there be peer support groups? Can we train, you know, there's a lot of different ways for students to feel heard and supported. At the town level, we have, we're hiring, we had them at halftime, but we've increased that through the police station. We have a support person to deal with folks that come in, whether it's with mental health issues or going through the system who are having a difficult time. So it's something that we think about, and I assume the school department and administration thinks about it as well. So it's a great, something really great to be focused on, Lauren. And I think, you know, once we get our bearings, maybe March, April, we can have more robust conversations about what else we can do.
Great. I think another youth, Maggie's on here. She's working on some intersections that are concerned to teens and young people walking around town. So she's been working, yeah, with the Safe Routes to School folks and trying to set up a meeting with Lieutenant Anderson and some other people, because there are some intersections that they're concerned about.
Oh yeah, Lieutenant Anderson is great. If you can get him, I know he's really busy, but yeah, without a doubt, one of the worst. I work out at Rebirth. That intersection right there for kids walking to the Galvin is awful, awful. There was a car accident while I was working out just the other day. But that's great, Maggie. So if you can't get in touch with Lieutenant Anderson, shoot me an email and I can help facilitate that. I'm happy to do so.
Yes, thank you. Is there any other questions for Counselor Santos? I don't see any. Thank you for coming, though. I really appreciate answering all our questions.
Oh, sure. No, I'm really happy to do so. And you have my email in the chat. So if anyone has any follow-up questions or something popped up or you didn't want to say it at the meeting, please give me a shout. I'm happy to help. So it was great. Great to see you all. It's so exciting to see you involved and care about our community. So thank you all.
Thank you. Yeah.
Thank you for coming.
All right, take care.
Awesome. That was great. That was really fun, exciting. So next up, I just want to do like a little check-in because like I know now I think all of us are online learning now, or at least all the high schoolers. Because I'm not full. I'm online for 2 weeks too. So I want to see like mental health check-in. How's everyone feeling? No, just shout out.
I'm feeling pretty good, but it's kind of tough. It's tiring.
Yeah, no, me too. Yeah, I'm tired too. I hate sitting on my computer all day. I like sit in this chair for 6 hours. It's awful.
Yeah, like for me today, I was luckily because I'm in like I'm in cohort A. I didn't have a Zoom session like my last blocks, but I had Zoom sessions like essentially from 7 to like 9:30, 9:40ish, and then after that I had to like finish my sealed by literacy test. So I was still staring at a screen from like 12 to like 2:30, and then like now, so like I would say for me it's just like it's surprisingly so draining just staring at a screen all day, even more draining than just like being all over the place physically like on a typical day. And I feel like that's been the most unexpected thing, I think, for me.
I feel like I've really this is gonna sound so cheesy, but I definitely took in-person school for granted. Like obviously we all have tough days where we don't want to be there, but this week for sure, with 3 80-minute blocks, like completely on Zoom with barely any breaks, like I've definitely realized how lucky we are. And it's more evident to see how hard the teachers are working too. Like obviously they work super hard when we're in school, but it's a lot to juggle for them. So I feel like I've learned to be grateful, and also I think it's a really good lesson for all of us that if we, not specifically our group, but if the youth is continuing to do the things that we're doing, and maybe not making great choices about social distancing, like this is kind of a repercussion, and I don't think anyone's really enjoying it. So I think it's something to be mindful of, that this is what's going to happen if we continue to do it. So I've definitely learned a lot of lessons over the past 5 days.
Totally. Yeah, and it really stinks. But like, what my perception of this is that I'm preparing myself for the worst that we might be online for the next few months. That's what I'm preparing my mind for. So like, I'm going to these 2 weeks of fully online. I'm like, this could be me for 2 more months. And kind of just like, just like getting ready for it. So, anyone else? Chickens.
Well, I've been on remote since the beginning. I didn't go into school, and yeah, it was tough. It was like a huge adjustment, but if anyone's worried, like it does get easier, it does get better. It's not the best situation, but like if we continue to do so, like I don't know, just you got this. It gets better.
Thanks, Yana. Yeah.
I'm hearing a lot of people are just like bored, and I see Williams like meh. That's I hear from a lot of high schoolers that I talk to as well. So I feel for you guys.
Yeah.
But there's a light at the end of the tunnel. Those vaccines are getting approved, and I'm looking to book a vacation for this later on in the summer. I need something to look forward to. So
I know. Yeah. Hopefully we can go to college. That's what I'm hoping for.
yeah.
Okay. Next up on the agenda, I just want. Oh, sorry. New voting members. So, as you know, we have a new voting member spot, and I think me and Kevin are talking about this, and like, I think the best option for us is to fill it as like as a group and vote on it, just because I think setting a precedent is always a good idea. And we might not always have a senior on here who can be here for a few months and leave. It might be a freshman who joins as a non-voting member, but then becomes a voting member. I think the best thing to do is set a precedent now, just looking at the future of the council. So I think right now we have Anthony and Manuela are both going to give like a little bit of like a speech or a little bit, whatever. And then we will, each voting member will vote on which person we want to become a voting member.
So are you going to do that by roll call, Jack?
Yeah.
Are you going to announce each?
Yeah, so I guess now we have to do roll call for everything. I didn't know that.
Do you want to open that up to discussion? Do you all want to do it this way, or?
Yeah, it's okay with everyone. I know like it really sucks. I really wish we were all board members, but this is how like it works. So is this okay with everyone? Yeah. Okay. It really does stink though. Okay, so Anthony, Manuela, you both each one of you has the floor. Whoever wants to go first can go. So
I can go.
Awesome.
All right. So yes, hello, my name is Emanuela Doriso, and I, a member of the Youth Council, would like to have the opportunity to become a voting member. So I applied to the Youth Council because I want to make an impactful change in this community, as well as to find a way to connect more with the people of Wakefield. As a voting member, not only will I be able to participate with the other members of my council, but also join you in the action-making process. With more voices and support, it may strengthen the value of our cause. As a non-voting member, there have been many times when we take a vote and I genuinely want to participate, but unfortunately I could not. But if I'm given the role as a voting member, I will be able to finally use my voice and vote.
Thank you, Manuela. And Anthony?
Hello, I'm Anthony Matucci. I'm the current secretary of the Youth Council. And all I really want to say is that I want everyone to make a decision that they believe will be best for the interest of the Youth Council. And like Emanuela said, the interest of the Youth Council is to promote the youth voices of this town. It's to make sure they are heard and they are being fulfilled to their fullest extent. And I believe that as a voting member, I can definitely fulfill this this duty of the youth council, which I believe is definitely the most important. And as secretary, I've sort of developed many connections throughout the youth council with different liaisons. Even as I'm just like grinding out every meeting, I am definitely, that's definitely helped me learn so much more about all the different facets of youth council, which I feel like youth council is kind of like this, like a planetary, it's just developing more and more branches, developing more and more connections. And I feel like I've been a part of a lot of those connections, whether directly or indirectly. And I feel like that is really integral to a voting member being able to be aware of all perspectives and all sides.
Awesome. Thank you, Anthony and Manuela. So do I hear any nominations for a voting member?
I'd like to, oh my gosh, nominate Emanuela.
Do I hear a second on that nomination of Emanuela to become a voting member? Thank you, Yana. And any other nominations for voting member?
I'd like to nominate Anthony for voting
Thank you,
member.
Liz. Thank you, Liz, for the nomination. Do I hear a second on the nomination of Anthony to become a voting member?
I second.
Awesome. Thank you, Maggie. So we will now be going through a roll call vote. We will first vote on Emanuela because she was nominated first, and all voting members we counted. Okay, so Alyssa.
Wait, is this like a yes or no vote?
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
yeah, sorry. That's not been clear. Say this is for Emanuela, so yes for Emanuela or no.
Okay, I also just have a quick question. This is probably late,
Yeah.
but what would happen with like secretary if Anthony gets it? Like, do we have to vote another secretary? Would he be able to do
So
both?
we will have to do we'll have to motion. We'll have to nominate another person to be secretary, and then have to vote for that.
Okay.
So
sorry, I just wanted to clarify.
You're good. Okay, so this is for Emanuela. Alyssa.
No.
Okay. Lauren.
Yes.
Megan. Oh, Megan's not here. Never mind. Sorry. Nick.
Yes.
Summer.
Yes.
Yana.
Yes.
Jenna.
Yes.
And William.
No.
No. Okay, and then we'll only be voting on Anthony's nomination. Alyssa.
Yes.
Lauren. Wait, Alyssa, you can't vote yes on both.
I didn't.
Oh, you didn't. Oh, sorry, my bad.
No.
Okay, sorry. Lauren.
No, I'm sorry. I feel so bad.
Megan's not here. Nick.
No.
Summer.
No, because you're such a good secretary.
Uma. Oh, Uma's not here, sorry. Yana.
No, for the same reason of some. Sorry.
Maggie.
No, sorry, you're too good at taking the minutes.
Jenna.
No.
And William.
Yes.
So Emanuela received 5 votes, Anthony received 2. So Emanuela is new voting member on the Youth Council. Clap, everyone. Thank you, Anthony and Emanuela. Anthony, you're just too good of a secretary, I guess, which is great.
I mean, Anthony, I've been part of many committees over my years, and I think you have the best notes and the best summaries I've ever seen. So I'm sorry, your talents, and Emanuela, that was a great speech. So you know, both of you, you know, both Jack, I was like, I don't think we should do the vote, Jack. I didn't want to go through it, but Jack, you're good. Stick into process. That's what we need to do, because you guys are the first year of this youth council. And I know the voting non-member voting versus non-voting member thing was arbitrary at the beginning. It was basically on when your applications came in, but we'll have to develop a system, and that'll be you guys deciding when new applications come in, how that will work, on who will be voting and who will be non-voting. So you'll decide that.
Yes, and we'll have to open up applications in the beginning of next year too. So I think
I've already received inquiries about it. So
oh, really? Okay. Okay, so next up on the agenda is, as we want to have a follow-up discussion about the mental health, all the stuff we heard from last week and what people are thinking about and what we want to do to move on with this project. So I think this is very important, especially now since we have a lot of online learning going on. So does anyone have any thoughts on this new project and just whatever we heard last week in the last meeting? Maggie?
So I think personally, based on my experiences, I think we should focus on like getting people, like kids, just like connected with their friends, because I've been missing my friends a lot, and I've resorted to talking to myself, and I have very boring conversations with myself, and I just need to see my friends, because like during school, like you have a couple friends in your cohort and you have a couple people that like you're friendly with, but you don't have like any of your like main group of friends people, and you kind of miss them. And I think we should focus on getting kids in contact with their friends and people that can help them like with the problems that they're having, just because mental health is so fragile now. And yeah.
Totally. Yeah, I think, oh, Jenna.
You can go.
Oh, I was just going to say, yeah, I totally agree with Mackie's point, where I think if we wanted, I don't know how we would do that, but I think allowing people to get in touch with their friends and like kind of create a means to do that. I don't know necessarily how we would go about that, but I think that is a good point. But Jenna? Yeah, Catherine?
Oh, all I was going to say is, remember, you guys are like a policy making group too. So you're looking like top down. So maybe not thinking of programming, but as a voice, what could you do? Like what Maggie was saying, she's is anyone else experiencing that they don't really have many friends in their cohorts, or and aren't seeing a lot of different people and aren't connecting with people that they raise your hand if you've kind of experienced that a little bit. I know one of my kiddos is experiencing that. So think about that. What could you do? And Jenna, go ahead.
Well, I just wanted to say that I'm very lucky and I have two of my closest friends in my cohort, but I know of some people that haven't been able to, and people like are saying like, oh, you're like, oh, you get to go to school and talk to your friends, and it's like you really don't, because your teachers are like trying, and I completely understand, but they're trying to use all the time they have to teach you. So maybe we could come up with like a few ways or like a few activities to do with your friends while still staying safe.
Totally, yeah. Maybe, I think, I don't know, it's a good idea. Maybe we'll have to think about programs. I know that, or like advice or something. I don't know. This is a problem though. What does everyone think? Like, Catherine? Yeah, like.
Well, all I was going to say is that make sure you're providing, if you have, or maybe we can do a subcommittee on this because we're part of the communications team, because I know they are working on it. But thinking about, okay, maybe there's a way to tell the administrators, especially I think at the middle school, maybe there's something that they can do to connect kids even online so that they're seeing more people than just those 15 students that they're with all week long, and fun ways to interact with other students besides those 15.
Is the Wakefield Youth Action Team doing anything like relating to this?
They're doing some mental health outreach, but not I think the Galvin Middle School is going to be playing some games online with younger students, but that's about it. So to try to get some activities going.
Yeah. What are other people's thoughts, Anthony?
I was just gonna say, going off of Maggie and Jenna, I just feel like there are a lot of like maybe this is because I'm in March Man and there's like so many like connections to be made, but I feel like there were a lot of acquaintances and just sort of like somewhat close friends that I just haven't been able to speak to at all in such a long time. And I feel like maybe proposing some initiative within that regard, allowing people to like be able to intermingle with a lot of people in some way, shape, or form, of course, safely, would be really beneficial. Just because I feel like maybe a lot of people have been able to be at least in contact with their close friends, but when it comes to having those acquaintances, having those people that you may just see, say hi to the hall in, or say how asking how they are in the hall, those types of connections, which I think honestly are really important, have just kind of disappeared.
Totally. I miss those like highs or whatever in the hall. Those were fun. Jenna?
I think especially as we go like into the winter, it's gonna be hard for some kids to stay active because not as many sports are happening. So maybe we could organize some type of like competitive or not competitive like activity day or like sports day where like people can enter on an online leaderboard. We could organize activities and then people could like enter their scores and like compete with their friends.
Good ideas. Amelia?
Adding on to what Jenna was saying, I've noticed that a lot of like after school clubs and things like that have been canceled. So like, for example, things like arts for the arts kids, like we still have a lot of sports going on, but there's also a lot of things that have been canceled. So things like drama club and chamber chorus and things like that. We could try to find ways to implement things like arts and performing arts back into our madness.
Totally. Maggie?
Yeah, I especially agree with Amelia because one of my main activities in the winter is drama club besides dance, and it's been canceled this year. And it was just like a highlight of my year because it's so much fun because a lot of my friends are there. If they aren't in your class, like you can see them then. And then there's like a lot of people who have similar interests in the same club as you, and like you make even more friends, and it's just a lot of fun because like you get to hang out with your friends and you get to do something that you love, especially because you're doing it with your friends. It's even better. And like Amelia said, we're missing chamber chorus, and I personally was never in it, but a lot of my friends really liked it. And then even just like the after school like art club, like a lot of people I know really liked it because they felt that art class either was too slow for them or just wasn't giving them like the full details. And it was just, there's a lot of like clubs that my friends used for for their social lives. And like, especially now that you can't even see your friends because of school and how school's working, it's even worse because personally, I have felt this too, that school is my social life. Aside from like the clubs and dance that I do, school really is my social life. And it's just hard because a lot of stuff that we used to be able to do is canceled this year. And some of the stuff that we used to be able to do was like really, really fun. And now like you can't even really do it online. Like, how are you supposed to put together a play online? Like you can't. And you can't really do chorus online this year either because of like Wi-Fi and stuff. And there's just a lot of stuff we're missing out on and a lot of stuff that people really used to love and enjoy doing. So yeah.
Yeah, I know my school, we are doing our drama in person. I don't know how they're doing it, but they're doing it. So I don't know. Maybe I can ask some drama kids how they're doing it. Maybe we could implement some stuff. But sorry, I'm saying we have 10 minutes left in our meeting and we still have a bunch of stuff to the agenda. So I think we're gonna pause this discussion until next meeting. So keep come up with ideas, but we got.
Well, I was going to ask Alyssa, could we use part of the communications team meeting to work on this initiative?
Yeah, I was actually going to bring that up in the update. That's absolutely something we could do. And I can send the Zoom link out to everybody. So if you want to come and have ideas, then you can just pop in, because that's the bulk of our meeting on Monday.
Oh, so you're next up on the agenda. So you just want to talk about what the communications team's been doing, all that?
Sure. So basically, since the last meeting, we finished the Meet the Members posts, and now we're turning our focus to what we've just been talking about for the past 15 minutes or so, like the mental health outreach, all that kind of stuff. And like I was going to say, most of our meeting on Monday is going to be about that. So if you have any ideas or know anybody who gave you ideas, like feel free to pop in, have them come. We'd love to hear all the ideas that you guys have.
Yeah. Is there anyone else from the communication you need to talk about anything?
I'm just excited. Okay, go ahead, Anthony.
Oh, sorry. I was just going to really quickly mention that the newsletter came out. It was sent out to the parents Wakefield High School, and I just sent it over to Ollie yesterday for him to send out to the middle school parents. So that's gonna be really good. I think I remember I didn't even tell my dad I was writing it, and he's like, "Oh, what is this?" And I was like, "Yeah, I wrote that." So they're definitely receiving it, which I'm really happy about, which is creating some really impactful awareness among the older generations of Wakefield.
Anthony, do you want to send it over to me, because I don't go to Wakefield High, so I still want to read it.
Yeah.
Also, we did release our press release in the paper and on our social media. So there was that.
There was mixed reaction, but
yes, very mixed.
But that's what you expected. I mean, you were in that, you through your polls, you realize that not everyone feels the same way, and through some education, you might change some minds. And I think I watched your interactions on Instagram, and you handled it very well. So nice job. It can be hard to manage a social media page, especially when you have topics like this coming up. So these are great experiences for you all.
Well, Melissa did a great job, guys. If you guys haven't seen the comments, go read them. Melissa did a great job. So
Jack helped too. It wasn't just me.
That I was very impressed. And I think a lot of the adults were watching how you all and youth, how you all reacted, and it was very impressive. So very professional.
Anything else from the communications team? Nada. Awesome. Next thing on the agenda is William has some updates from the planning board. You want to talk about that?
Yeah, so I have a slideshow I'd like to share.
You should be able to screen share. Just update the security.
Oh wait, I need to quit and come back.
It's okay. You just want to say a few things out loud. You'll be okay. Catherine, you're muted if you're trying to talk.
It'll only take a second.
Yeah, try again, William.
I'll be back in the Zoom in a second.
Okay.
Okay.
He worked on this presentation, so we should definitely.
Okay. It says I have to leave to enable something in the settings.
I just enabled it for you. Try it again. There you go.
You see it?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so planning board updates. 200 Quannapowitt Parkway. So this is the plan. It's near the lake. It's the big building, the office building, and they're going to turn it into a big apartment. 200 Quannapowitt Parkway plan. The office building, which was formerly known as American Mutual Building, would be taken down and a housing development place would be built in the same place. The site is zoomed for light commercial. The developer is planning to build 600 housing units with 6 floors high. Controversies. Now this is the Friend of Lake Quannapout, which is a organization for preserving the lake. Friends of Lake Quannapout was founded in 1991 by residents of Wakefield who want to preserve Lake Quannapout for future generations. They want to scale down the size of the project at 200 Quannapout Parkway, or even prevent the project from happening to preserve the lake from harm that building the project would create. Friends of Lake Quannapout would like to, I think that's a typo, Board of Appeals to grant a special permit to any applicant before residential housing can be constructed in the district. Problems that might come with building this project. A large-scale, multiple residence development near the shore of the lake would permanently alter the charter of the lake. Traffic concerns would happen because you have 600 units, which means 600 people or even 1,000 people would be living there, so it would cause traffic, and those people have to have cars and buses to transport them to their jobs. Walking access for Wakefield residents may be affected in this area of the lake. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you, William, for that presentation. And Santos talked about this development earlier in the meeting and with all the controversies. So it's a big deal, I think. So does anyone have any questions for William about the planning board? Awesome. I don't see any. Thank you, William, for that. Sorry, what to say?
One more note. Everyone have a good weekend. It's been a crazy week, especially for me. So I hope all of you have a good weekend.
You too, William. William, thank you so much. And I have to give William credit because those meetings are long and arduous. So he's got a.
Totally.
I'll be honest, I have no idea what's happening in the meeting. There's so much going on. So I have to somewhat do my independent research when creating this slide.
It is confusing. I've attended a few.
So does anyone else have any updates about their liaison positions in general? Maggie?
So I just met with Judy from the Safe Routes to School committee, and I actually left my notes at my dad's house, but basically we talked about what she could do. So there was 2 things she could do. She could do a walk-on tour, which is where, with permission from the school, she actually comes onto school grounds and checks out arrival and dismissal, sees how people leave, and like checks out the traffic flow. And then the other thing that she could do, she can actually go into neighborhoods, and she can like see how everyone walks to school, like where the dangerous roads are and like all the dangerous intersections, and she can actually go and check out the intersections. And she told me a couple things that we could actually do with the intersections, like we could put up flags so that people can take flags and walk across the street so people actually see that they're crossing the street. And then she talked about like solar powered lights that you can press a button and they would turn on and just flash saying like, hey, someone's crossing the street, you can't go around here because someone's in the road. And then yeah, that was about it.
Awesome. Very interesting. Thank you, Maggie. And Summer?
I know we're about to go over, so I'm going to make it super quick. But one of my teachers attended one of the school council meetings, and they said that the Wakefield Youth Council presentation was very impressive, and they really liked hearing from the youth. So shout out to whoever was there.
Yeah, so we've gotten good reactions to that, which I'm very happy about. And I think we will continue to push the school committee on this once all the coronavirus stuff gets under control in the schools. Was anyone any updates liaison wise? Okay, I don't see any. Okay, last thing we do is next meeting date. Let me check my calendar. Any in the calendar. So are we still good with Fridays at 3:30? This time work for everyone?
With sports being changed, would you all prefer to meet in the middle of the week or in the evening, or do you like this time?
I like this time. It works good for me.
Yeah, I like this time
Same.
too.
Yeah, me too.
I can't do the middle of the week.
Mm-hmm. Like, are sports like fully canceled? Like, what's happening with sports? Like,
I think people are just
William.
waiting for guidance.
yeah,
Sports are
I
dead.
think
Yeah,
at this
with the
point,
that stinks. Okay, so our next meeting date would be it would be December 11th at 3:30. So everyone put that in their calendars. That will be, yeah, that's a good date.
I think that's good just to have one meeting in December. You guys have a lot going on.
Yeah,
so.
and then our next meeting will probably be in the new year. Okay.
Sorry, December 11th.
This is December 11th at 3:30. Okay. So I don't think there's anything else on our agenda. Oh, does anyone else have anything we need to talk about? Any other business regarding youth council or anything? Okay, so do I hear a motion to end the meeting?
Motion.
Thank you, Summer. Do I hear a second?
second.
Okay, I will now do a roll call vote because we have to. Alyssa,
Yes.
Lauren,
Yes.
Nick,
Yes.
Summer,
Yeah.
Yana,
Yes.
Emanuela,
Yes.
Maggie,
Yes.
Jenna. I think Jenna's
She had to
gone.
leave, yeah.
And William.
Yes.
Awesome. Meeting is now adjourned. I'll see you guys next December 11th at 3:30.
Have a good Thanksgiving,
Yeah, have a good
everyone.
Thanksgiving, everyone. Bye.
Guys.
Bye.
Bye,
All
Catherine.
right,
Thank
nice
you.
job, Jack.